Today we're going to make Red Lobster biscuits. They are yummy, buttery, cheesy, everything you like in a biscuit. So sit back and check this out. Red Lobster cheesy biscuits. They're really good, they're fun to make, and they're great to eat. So it's real simple. First thing we need to do is melt the butter. So I got about 6 tablespoons of butter in a stick. Makes it hard to melt, so we're going to chop it up into smaller pieces just in order to get it in the microwave, because it's going to combine a lot easier if it's melted. I guess you could try it in little chunks. I'm sure it would work, but we melted it down. So into the microwave it goes, 30 seconds. Gets it nice and melty. So you can see right here, 30 seconds later, perfect, just what we want. We've got another mixing bowl, and these aren't huge. We're only going to get 6 or 7 biscuits. 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of salt. A little bit of garlic powder. You could put a teaspoon, tablespoon, whatever you'd like. Then we're going to mix all the dry ingredients together just to incorporate it. The taste is going to be there, so have some faith. It doesn't take much to mix it around. But the next thing we're going to do is the cheese. So I had old cheddar. I tried to guess at about a cup of cheese. Wasn't entirely sure, but you know what, if you go over, hey, you got lots of cheese. So I got my grater out and I got another bowl to put the cheese in, and away I went. And you could buy the shredded cheese in the bag, and I have done that. Save a lot of time, but it also doesn't hurt if you don't have it. It doesn't hurt to just do what I did right there. So now we're going to incorporate this into the flour mixture. I kind of spread it out a little bit, just to make it easier to mix. I was more afraid it would clump all up because it was a little humid the day I did this, and I was kind of concerned that it was going to affect it, but no, it wasn't that bad. As you can see, it mixed up pretty quick. Didn't really take a whole lot of effort. So once that's done and thoroughly incorporated, now we've got to crack an egg. And this is going to be the mixture that's going to go into the flour. So I put the melted butter in there. Make sure it's cool, because you don't want the milk curdling. And that was about a half a cup of milk. It doesn't look like a lot, but it was more than enough. It actually made the batter sticky. So you want to thoroughly mix this. You get the egg and the milk and the butter all mixed together. It's going to come out great when it's finally done, I will tell you. So you mix all that up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to throw it into the bowl. So we get our bowl of flour and cheese, and we're going to, excuse my arm, we're just going to throw all that into the mixture, and we're going to incorporate it all. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to get it to incorporate. You just pull in from the sides. You want to make a well in the middle and pull in from the middle, that's fine too. I just find this way I can scrape the sides and make sure that I get all the flour incorporated. It's a little bit of a challenge at first because it doesn't look like it's mixing at all, but as with any other batter, eventually you get to where you need to be. And I did mention before that it will be sticky. It's okay. It's quite all right. Now, the actual recipe I had said we just spoon it into the pan when we're done. I found it was a little too tacky to do that and a little too sticky. So once we get this all done, we're going to get our baking sheet ready. Then I'll show you what I did. I mean, I pretty well just used my hands at the end of the day to do it. But, you know, I tried. I did. I tried to use the fork to actually spoon it out. And, you know, the size of your biscuits, it's all going to be guesswork. I mean, you want a decent sized biscuit. Yes, they will rise up a little bit. So you do have to take that into account. But they don't rise up that much. I mean, what you see is, you know, pretty well what you're going to get. So now we got to get the baking sheet ready to go. And of course, parchment paper is always the order of the day. It makes cleanup so much easier, whether you're baking biscuits or cooking fish or whatever. So here you go. I grabbed a forkful and just kind of put it down on the pan, and I wasn't really sure how many I was going to get at this point, so I'm not sure how close to put them. So I tried to kind of put them, you know, a fair distance apart, and then I was worried that the baking sheet that I had didn't actually have enough room. As it turned out, I managed to fit them all. So as you can see here, I mean, this is not rocket science, right? You just take your dough and you see, I got frustrated at this point. just use your hand because it was so much easier than using a fork. I just tore it apart and kind of balled them up so they don't look as rough as the first three that I put down. It just seems so much easier not to have to worry about it. And you know what? At the end of the day, it was. You know, I could have taken the whole thing and just divvied it all up into what ended up being, I think, 8 biscuits by the time I was done. So that's not bad because it did say this recipe was going to make 6. So I got a couple extra bonus ones. Not that they lasted. They didn't. So I guess that's always a sign that, you know, whatever I make is good. If it doesn't last, it means somebody must have liked your cooking. So there you are. Now we've just got to get them in the oven. I believe we put it at 375. We're going to cook it for about 10 minutes. Now, why? Well, see, they're not quite done. So what we've got to do here is we need some other butter, another teaspoon or so, or tablespoon or so. And now we're going to brush the tops with butter because you can't have enough butter. So, you know, get your brush, get some melted butter, and go nuts and just drape butter on the tops, and you'll thank yourself later for it. So once this is done, they got to go back in the oven to finish cooking. Only about 5 minutes. Not the end of the world. You know, they almost look good enough to eat now, but you got to let the butter soak in and, you know, do its thing. And of course I went back and rebuttered everything because I'm not wasting a drop of this stuff. You know, there's no way. So into the oven she goes. And when it's done, that's what they look like. I let them cool for like a minute or two and then just put them right out and put them in the basket. And there you go. Something nice and simple. Just as easy as buying a box at the grocery store. So I hope you try it. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Give me a thumbs up in the bottom if you'd like to. Share my video. That's okay with me. And ring the bell. The bell will tell you next time I post a video, which is usually once a week. So I hope you enjoyed this. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.